Alright, this video we're going to add more text, and we may be utilizing the character panel even more. So what I'm going to do is click and drag the character panel over into the panel that currently holds the color swatches and styles, and I can minimize that. So now we can work a little bit easier with character panel and our layers panel. Alright, so I'm going to hide our background here so that we can see the original. So we want to create our text that says helping you manage your wealth and achieve your financial dreams. And oh, earlier we created the text that you see above, and I noticed that the text could use some space in between the lines, so I'll show you how to do that real quick. So the layer that says planning, calculating, managing, um, here we can adjust the tracking by clicking and dragging the icon, or we can click the arrow on the drop down list, and let's say we set it to 100, and you'll see the higher the number is, the more space we have between each letter. Let's go down to 200, and we'll leave it at that, so that looks a little bit more like the original. Alright, so again, turn off layer 4. Alright, so earlier when we were using the text tool to make those 3 words, we left click and then we started typing. So here's another way we can use the text tool. Currently, if we look at the text that says helping you manage your wealth and achieve your financial dreams, we want to mimic that, and we also want to get the width about the same. So one way to do this is to simply left click with the text tool and drag, and that's going to create a bounding box, and so all our text will remain within this box that we create. Okay, now with this text I'm going to do it this particular way, but you could also make each line a different layer. So for example, helping you could be your text layer, and then manage your wealth could be another layer, and achieve could be another layer, and then your financial goals could be another layer. I'm going to show you how to do this all within one text layer. So I'm going to type the words up. Alrighty. Okay, a couple of differences you can see right off. Um, the words are all uppercase. I'm still in edit mode, which means I have not confirmed or canceled the text layer. So I'm going to select all of the words, or all the words here, and this icon represents uppercase or all caps. If you mouse over there long enough, it should show up and say all caps. Mine isn't doing that for whatever reason. As you can see now, all of my words are uppercase. This may be kind of hard to see, so I'm going to go ahead and confirm that and bring in my layer 4 to make it a little bit easier for you to see what we've done so far. Alright, so far we have the text. Nothing special right now, but you see it's all uppercase. Righty. At this point, for the color, in the character panel, I click the color swatch, and with the eyedropper, I'm going to simply mouse over. It's probably going to be a little bit easier if I do it over larger words. So the W, if I click in the right area, I can get that purple. Now my text is the same color as the original. So I want to click OK. You'll also notice that there's a certain amount of space between each letter. Right now it's at 200. Alright, so let's change that to 300. And I'm going to go ahead and go to 500 and see what that looks like. Okay, it looks okay. We could use maybe could use a bit more, but there's some other adjustments that we need to make. Alright, so I'm going to start with the helping you and get that fixed up. Alright, one thing I could do is change the font, but I'm going to leave the font the same. If you wanted to change the font, you could simply click from this drop down list here in the character panel, or you can go to your tool options. And the benefit of Photoshop is that you can see a sample or an example of what that text would look like before you choose that font. But again, I'm going to keep the font that I'm currently using. One thing that I do want to do is increase the text size or the font size. Let's see what 48 looks like. Okay, definitely too large. 30. Alright, 30 seems like it's going to be right for manage your wealth and then your financial goals. That's kind of convoluted, so let's hide that. Alright, so yes, the line says manage your wealth and then your financial goals. Probably going to be around 30, may be okay for those. So what I'm going to do is double click on the T to go into edit mode. You'll see the word helping you. Is a little bit smaller. So instead of 24, maybe let's see what 18 looks like. Okay, seems like it's close. And now we need to get our words over to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm this and make it easier for you to see, but this step isn't necessarily necessary. So but I click in front of the H in helping, and if I hit the space bar, you'll see that it moves that line over. Alright, I know it's not lined up perfectly, but I'm going to leave it like that for sake of time. Manage your wealth is next, and I can't recall what's after that, so I need to look at the original. Okay, manage your wealth is next, and then in achieve is that third line. At this point it is pretty hard to read. So one thing that we can do, let me go ahead and confirm that. I double clicked on it earlier. Use the move tool and move it up or down a bit so we can see it a little bit better. Alright. So if I move it down, alright, helping you manage your wealth is okay. And achieve needs to be over a bit, so I double click on the T, put my cursor in front of the A on and achieve, and hit the space bar to line it up. And I can also see here that your financial could be moved over a bit as well. Alright, now this may be hard to see, so let's make some changes. I want to bring in my own background, and you can see that your financial goals should be all on one line. When we use this particular method and created the text box, we made it a certain width, and so that's automatically going to make the text wrap. So in other words, the word goals is too large to fit on this line. What I can do is change the font size, make it smaller to make it all fit, but instead, even though I created the box and the width of the box earlier, I can still adjust it. So I'm going to click and drag to make it a little bit wider. And that could allow us more room. Let's go ahead and drag over a little bit. Make this a little bit wider. More room for our box so that the word goals doesn't wrap anymore. Alright, as we see there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and confirm this and move the text over. Just a little bit. You may have to, the space may be a little bit too much for the words your financial goals. But one thing I noticed is that helping you and achieve should be the same size. So helping you is 18 points. So I'm going to select the words and achieve and set that to 18 point font. Alright, like so. Now let's take a look at the original. Your financial goals. Yeah, so I have a little bit too much tracking on your financial goals. So let's take this back down to 400, and that seems close enough for me. Alright, so I'm going to move it a bit. Alright, now if we want to be extremely precise, we could do some some leading, also known as line spacing. So if we set this to 48, let's see what we get. It drops it down a bit. We have 36. That's probably going to be not enough. 44 may be a better choice. Maybe even 40. Alright, so we'll set it to 40. And let's line up the word. This last line, your. Move that back a bit. Alright, and I'm going to leave it like that because we could be making adjustments all day long. But that's going to be close enough. So let's take a look at what we have so far. Alright, let's take the move tool and move it over just a bit. Right there should be fine. Alright, so all our text is showing. Not too bad so far.